You know, people back then, they really went for these greens they called bitter greens, and collards. And
did y'all have any melons or mushmelons or anything?
oh yes, we grew lots of watermelons and cantaloupes. And
any peanuts or anything like that?
I was just telling Modine last night. One time we planted, I imagine 3 or 4 acres of peanuts. And my daddy and this fella, Ed Bass, that I just mentioned a while ago, they built a hay baler. And you press the hay with one horse, and there's just one tongue on it. You'd pull the tongue back and put the hay in the chamber, and then you'd make that horse go up and press it, and then you had to back him up. And to back that horse up and open the chamber for another batch, you know. And we baled 104 bale of peanut hay.
Wow.
We pulled these peanuts up and shocked them. And then we baled 104 bale of peanut hay.
How long would 104 bales of peanut hay feed?
You'd feed it a long time. Of course, you didn't feed nothing. Fed your horses that. You didn't feed your cows that peanut hay. You gave them corn shucks and something else.
Did y'all have a radio?
Oh, radio, we didn't even know what that was. No, we eventually got one, you know, and you wouldn't play it during the week, save your battery to listen to the Grand Ole Opry on Saturday night.
Did y'all listen to anything besides the Grand Ole Opry?
Pardon?
Did you listen to anything besides the Grand Ole Opry?
Not that I remember.
That was the one of choice. Were there did anybody deliver anything like coal or milk or anything? Was there any delivery people that came around and did anything like that?
No, sir.
So it was all...
Had one Watkins peddler that come around, I guess 2 or 3 times a year, peddling Watkins products. One at peddled Raleigh products, as far as grocers or anything like that.
What all did y'all put up as far as canning and preserves and everything?
Well, peaches was the biggest deal then, but we put up more peaches than anything, but tomatoes and pickles. I don't remember us ever canning any peas. We didn't can no big variety.
You probably put up a lot of jelly and preserves.
Yeah, preserves. Lots of figs, you know.
What, did your mama have a flower garden or grow anything like that?
Oh, she had a few flowers in the yard, but no flower garden. She just planted a few flowers around about in the yard.
Was your yard fenced? Was it fenced?
Yeah.
Did any of y'all work anywhere besides just farming?
Me and my daddy and brother used to make cross ties. We get to crop laid by, well, we'd make cross ties. You slabbed them in, excuse me, and hewed them with a broad axe. And we'd make as high as 20 ties a day.
Wow. Who'd y'all sell those to?
I believe it was Santa Fe Railroad Company. We'd put them on at Switchyard in Craven. And they would come around ever so often and take up these ties, inspect them, you know, and see if there's any culls or.
Do you remember, and I know that you yourself are a veteran, but growing up as a youngster, did you remember any of the veterans being around you there in the Wiskachita community?
No, knew some guys that went in the Army, but I didn't. Yes, I had two uncles that went to the World War I.
Which uncles?
One of them was a Davis that married my daddy's sister, Harm Davis, and then my daddy's brother, Frank James. They went to the service in World War I.
How did y'all get around? We drive cars today, but how did y'all get around back then?
Oh, we managed to have some kind of vehicle. And, you know, then people buy a vehicle, the first thing they done just about was cut the cab off behind the windshield. And my daddy got a hold of a little 4-cylinder Chevrolet that had the cab cut off, and we used that to get around in for a long time. Then he got a job driving a school bus, and we used that for transportation for years.
What did y'all plow with?
Horses. Mm-hmm. We never did own a mule, but we owned horses.
Do you remember anybody around you that used anything other than horses?
No, I don't.
Well, what did y'all do during the special holidays? Did y'all do anything for like the 4th of July?
Well, if you could get watermelons right by the 4th, we just have an extra watermelon. No, nothing special.
No big community gatherings for anything?
No.
Tell me about, did y'all do any fishing?
Yes.
Tell me about fishing.
Oh, we'd go down there on the creek. Right by our field run pretty close to Wiskachita Creek. It did border the swamp part, but we'd go and set out hooks, and then that night, about 9, 10 o'clock, we'd go and run the lines to see if there was any fish on them. Then next morning we'd go and take up the hooks, get any fish that was on there.
What'd you use for bait?
Worms, earthworms. There's what they call a bottom feel that my daddy and his brothers and his daddy had a field down in the swamp. They called it a bottom field. And there was some earthworms there that would measure 8 or 10 inches long. And we'd go and they was tough as a boot. And we'd go and dig them worms in that old bottom field, and they was good for bait.
Did y'all do any pole fishing at all?
Mm-hmm.
What did you use for a pole?
Just go out there in the swamp and find you a little slim switch, and we didn't have these fancy cane poles.
Do you remember anybody doing any treasure hunting around?
Yes, sir.
Tell us.
You know, well, I remembered this Jesse Calhoun I mentioned a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
His daddy, Bud Calhoun, he was all the time hunting money, I reckon. And he was a big money hunter. But now, whether he found anything, I don't know.
Do you know any particular places where everybody always went to look for treasure?
Well, not really. I don't believe I do. I don't know where he went, but
you said you went to church at the Wichita Pentecostal Church. There was, I understand there was a killing that occurred there.
yes, sir.
Can you tell us just in that whole story?
This happened at this Wichita church. This having a revival. These guys had been having trouble, I guess you'd say, between themselves, but there's two of them that give this one a bad time. He was all the time on his trail. So that night at church, well, the house was full, and so these guys was there, and so the one that done the killing, and so he had the one that done the killing, he seen and felt that things was too tight for him there, and he went out to leave and had a flat on his car.